Hi everyone, welcome to Out of the Box Room, where I'm joined by travel industry professionals to talk and to share experiences, both personal and professional, straight out of my box room turned into an office. Please don't forget to like, to share, and most important, to come back for more. Today with me, I have an exceptional woman and a thorough professional, Dani, Sthel, a business and sales development manager. Hope you enjoy it. Good morning, Dani, and welcome to Out of the Box Room. Would you like to give a short introduction for people viewing?
Sure. Thank you, Patricia. Thanks for having me. Good morning. So I am Dani Sthel, which recently became Dani Sthel Hawkins, as I got married. Thank you. As I got married just as the pandemic was hitting its peak. So yes, I've been in the industry for just over 23 years now, starting from hotel business and then gradually moving my way into airline, where I started in the leisure sales area in 2002, where we were still kind of doing a lot of brochures and high street shops, to moving into corporate and an airline with Air France and KLM Group, where we had a lovely opportunity to meet and work with each other. Then I moved into HRG to negotiate with airlines, the other side of the table. And within that time, I really kind of got myself to learn more about technology and get more interested in technology and how the internet works. And that's how I moved into lastminute.com. I had a great opportunity to join an amazing team, an amazing company as well, who taught me so much about, OTAs and internets and NDCs and you name it, the project. It was a great opportunity, which I then got so much involved with the technology side of the business. I decided that, the TripAdvisor role was the following step for my career, that I wanted to learn a little bit more about all the API connections, which I joined in 2019. Super happy, great brand, again, great team as well. A lot of people that worked for TripAdvisor came from lastminute.com, so you kind of feel like home a little bit. And then unfortunately, COVID came and hit us.
Because you started, I believe you started in January 2020.
December 2019. So I started just in the middle of December 2019. Things were going really good. And then in January, we heard about the virus, but I guess we didn't quite take it serious as it is.
No one did.
No, and a lot of, I was booking to go to ITV. So, I was going to Germany. I was kind of booking to get married in South Africa. I was getting married in South Africa in March. I had people from all over the world going, and, it was kind of like business as usual. And even when I was talking to our partners, everybody was like, oh, by April, we'll be back. Should be fine. It's just a glitch. We've kind of had something similar with SARS and swine flus, and, it's not going to be here to stay, and business as usual. Then I went to get married and got locked up in South Africa because of the virus. We couldn't come back.
Honestly.
Yeah. So, some of my guests couldn't make it. Luckily, it was just a couple. Our wedding almost got cancelled the day before. I had 52 people from all over the world. And the day before the wedding, they all told us that we might not be able to go ahead. But luckily that, they've managed to get a license to proceed with the wedding. And it was, quite tough for some of the people, some of my guests to be able to come back. Some got stuck there for a week. And my husband and I, we got stuck there for about 3 weeks. We're going to go on a honeymoon anyway to Mauritius. So kind of like that counted and stayed, within the time. But then another 2 weeks into a repatriation flight. And I think that's when it really drew on us that this is serious. This is really happening, and the spread around the world was just,
Was this March? Was this
March last year?
March 2020. So a very eventful March 2020 for you, Dani.
A wedding that nobody's going to forget, I would say.
No, absolutely.
It was amazing. Everything went perfectly, but it's just, my sister that lives in Australia, it took her 2 months to be able to go back home. 2 months until they got a flight, because South Africa closed all the borders for everybody, and there was a lot of negotiations between governments to see which repatriation flights, which borders was going to come. And in my entire life, with everything that I think we've gone through with the ash clouds and to 9/11 to everything, I don't think the world has ever experienced anything like this virus.
What a story.
Yeah, I have many. Brazilians, we have many stories.
On a positive note, I have to say, you've been locked down with the love of your life, so it must have been very sweet. Absolutely. Could have gone worse,
No, absolutely. For better or worse, we kind of been getting for better and worse for the whole year. We both at home. He's working from home as well. We kind of like 24 hours that we're together, but we get on really well, and really kind of built our relationship, and we kind of like I made the right choice. He's definitely the right one.
Well, and this must have been a very trial period, because of course being together so long in a small place. I mean, even if you have a big house, it's still
in the house. Exactly.
Yes,
we couldn't even go out, with lockdown. That's the thing. You can live in a mansion, but it's still, you can't go out. Everything was closed, and I think it was just surreal to see it, like the streets were dead. And I think there's some really positive sides where, a lot of people say nature really kind of came back, and we've seen amazing birds. We had an amazing weather, which really helped as well last year. But, we complain about the tube being busy, running late, and all the things, but it kind of got to a point that it's kind of a groundhog day, where you wake up and you go to bed and you're doing the same things over and over and over again. So
I felt exactly the same. I felt one day was merging into the other without realizing it was Sunday again, and that's throughout the whole period. So when did you come back from South Africa?
So I got back just before Easter in April, but we both took our laptops because we knew that could be a possibility. So although I was there for this time, we start working for that just to keep time. Although it's a lovely place to be in lockdown, we were still locked inside a hotel room. We couldn't go out. So, because everything, it wasn't just the borders they closed, but everything completely shut down. So, you could only go out for 1 hour to exercise, and then you come back. So my dream life that I've always said, I want to live in a 5-star hotel. No, I don't want to live in a 5-star hotel. I don't want to be eating hotel food every day. But the hotel guests were amazing. They were so nice. It was an English owner with a lot of guests, a lot of employees from Zimbabwe, which they really, really needed the money to support the family back home. And then you really kind of start to get you of, how much tourism is so important for so many people's lives. These people solely rely on their tips, on their salaries to be able to help their families back home. And all of a sudden, a country that, 90% of the income is based on tourism, it's shut down. What do you do? So I think with COVID, you made a lot of people learn and appreciate what we have.
Absolutely.
And help others. That's one big thing.
And the other thing is it actually showed how much hospitality is important for the economy near and far, because it's not just the travel agent but or the hotel, is everything that is around there, is even the transport to go from one side to another. So you have the small taxis, small restaurant, everything is entwined into each other. So it's very important for the economy, hospitality. And unfortunately, we have seen that hospitality.
Yeah, it's like even things like the game reserves, the animals, they're there. They rely on your fee to go and pay to go in. So there's a huge cost for those people to actually maintain the health of the animal and give them so much space to live and to breathe. but they need the tourism to be able to afford that. So I think the tourism and hospitality industry, the impact is not, like just your banking, or it's just affect one line of industry. There are so many lines of industry there, even your well-being, are connected to the travel and hospitality industry. So it's very exciting to see what's been happening.
So Dani, you came back London, married with your husband, unfortunately lockdown, but a very nice new job to rely on. Then things start to go a little bit stranger. What happened?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And you know what? TripAdvisor, they really, really tried as much as they could to keep the team. It's a great company. I really take my hat off for them. And, I was learning so much, and it was so sad to actually see it, that the company did everything that they possibly could, because, they've extended, they took a bit of the furlough, they really maximized whatever they could do it, that, the resources they had. Until, unfortunately, to the end of last year, they decided that, COVID, we didn't quite have the light then at the tunnel yet, and we didn't know when that light would happen, that they decided to outsource the team. So it wasn't something that just affected me, but affected, our entire flight team. So it was very sad, to lose that, and, and especially when you're so eager to a new job, but a great company, it's a fantastic brand. And you kind of think, I've really lent myself here well, and this is going to get a great progression for my career. And then, everything changed. But I think, it's also a good lesson that you can't really count too much in what you have, because you just don't know tomorrow. You need to be prepared for changes, because you just don't know what can happen. And as you know, not just with me, but I have so many colleagues in the industry where, reached out, and I also, put myself out there to try to give them support, because I know how hard it is for people. Some of my friends, they've been working in companies for 25 years, and like, you never expect that you're going to be let go after so many years. So it's very tough, and it was very sad to leave them.
Tough and worrying, but of course, I've met you when you were at the France KLM and Alitalia. Then very briefly, we had some connection when you were at HRG, and then again at the last minute. But of course, you have worked in hotels, you have worked in TMC, OTAs, and airlines. I mean, you have got such a broad CV. What do you think, Dani, is best suited? Or did you like one side of the industry better than the other? They're connected, but they're different in the same time.
Yeah, the hotel was a very, very early in my career, which was great, because you build a family. You depend on everybody so much in a hotel business. Your housekeeper is your biggest treasure, because without a room being ready for that guest that's arriving, you can't do a sale, you can't actually move. So the hotel was really kind of where I started to build my family within the hospitality industry, and it was a great opportunity. But I think, yes, it's really the airlines where my heart is. Whether, when I was working for an airline, but after I even moved to lastminute.com, I think it really gave me the opportunity to bridge the relationship between an airline and an OTA, to see that they're not against each other, they're there to work with each other. Absolutely. And really kind of be able to talk the language, because, as a business, I've even interviews that I've been having, and, some people actually, they think that we're there to go against each other. And I think for me to be having had the experience working for an airline, I could talk to them kind of on the same language and try to find a solution that we would both benefit of our commercial partnership. And I managed to make some very lucrative deals, and cemented very good relationships with the airline. And even again, moving to TripAdvisor, I still maintain my relationships with airlines and the OTAs. So it kind of like, apart from the hotel side, which was mainly the guests, and corporate, when I started at Four Seasons as well, I was mainly dealing with the corporate side. The rest of my career is always kind of having the airline kind of relationship. I love airline. I studied to work from an airline, and airlines will always be at the heart of my, at the center of my career and my passion.
Absolutely. Listen, with the industry so heavily challenged and so many people looking for a job, how is your search going?
So at the beginning, it was quite tough because you get a bit desperate, because all of a sudden, there's a lot more demand than supply, and nobody's hiring. People are being let go, and you kind of, you think you try to control your anxiety. I'm a very positive person by nature, and I always kind of try to actually see it. I always try to see or compare myself with someone there's someone in a much worse position than I am, rather than why am I not that person above? Because a lot of people tend to compare themselves with what you don't have. So I've always looked to the things that I already have, and I'm very grateful for the things that I already have. Yes, it was, it's a bit frustrating because there was a lot of the companies out there, trying to advertise themselves as being open-minded and taking people from different, backgrounds and be able to cross experience and skills. But, when you go and you sit down and talk to them, they clearly see that, some of things in your CV or that they require, they go for more specific things rather than trying to utilize your skills and experience. There's so many things you can learn on the job. You learn about a system or a database. This is also learnable skills, but what you can bring, is your passion, is your ways of dealing and negotiation, that sort of experience,
and your experience as well. I mean,
mainly your experience,
huge baggage.
And when you do sales, it's in a way you can sell anything. You just need to learn about the product that you're going to sell. So absolutely. But you have some conversations with companies that are outside the travel industry, they just don't seem to grasp what you do. Even though you're trying to say I'm selling a product, whether you're selling a seat or an airline or a ticket, whatever it is, you're still selling, making that sale. And I think the biggest frustration is that a lot of the people, not just me, and I saw and talking to my colleagues, is how the industry, I know they're completely overwhelmed because from one day having 20, 30 CVs, they're having 1,000 CVs that's arriving in the inbox. But I think it's just that the periods that you do the homework, you apply, you spend your time, and you have the initial call with HR, then they take 2-3 weeks to come back to you. You have the interview. One interview that I will learn from it, but it was the one that kind of brought me a little bit down, that took me from my positive comfort zone. It was one interview that I had just before Christmas, and the person was based in a different country. We had calls like during the night, pretty much in the evening, and it went quite well. And I went to the final stage with the VP of this company. She asked me to put a presentation during Christmas, to send it to her by just after Boxing Day, because she would take this opportunity between Christmas and New Year's to look at my presentation, and then we could resume and then kind of take from there. I did that. I sent it pretty much, especially with the lockdown, we were not going anywhere anymore. So I took the time to actually do my presentation. So I did that together, put it in, sent it to her. Then I think it was the 4th of January when everything came back. Didn't hear anything, wait for the first week, nothing. Chased them twice just to see where it was. HR saying, oh, I'm trying to catch up with her. Then I just received an email to say, oh, no, thank you very much. She changed her mind, and she decided that, she didn't even give me the opportunity, she made me put a whole presentation together. She didn't even give me the opportunity to present or to talk about what was right, what wasn't, and, just the lack of feedback, because a lot of people really need it. And it's not just during the pandemic, but it's always good when you go for an interview, because I find an interview, it needs to be suitable for both parties. It's not that you failed, it's just that you're not the right person for that position, or the company wasn't the right for you. So I never see it as a failure. But I actually think that, feedback, it's so important for both parties to actually say, how can I improve? Or what did I do that didn't quite qualify for that job? And that was lacking a lot. And it still is. with a lot of the companies that, you take a lot of time. You need to redo your resume pretty much every time that you apply for a new position to adapt to the criteria of that job and to put your skills towards that job. So it takes time, and I know that people think, oh, you've got plenty of time now, but I'm quite fortunate in that way that I don't have kids. But there are people juggling, kids and family life and all the other things, and some people, with depression and anxiety, which you can't quite see it during a call. But these people, it makes them worse, and it impacts them significantly.
There are a lot of emotions every time you even apply for a job. And then to start with, companies that don't even give you an acknowledge, and you wait and looking at your emails and mobile to see if they've replied you. And the fact actually that you had interviews is positive, because I've got a number of ex-colleagues in the industry that they were saying they applied, they don't even get an acknowledgement and not an interview. So I appreciated the amount of emotions that are going, and every time it must have been incredibly disheartening.
But you know what, and as I say, this was just the one, it's just because you kind of like, you felt a bit of a failure, but then I picked myself up, and it wasn't personal. You can't take it personal. And every time that you have an interview, I take it as an experience. You just get better. You just pick yourself up and never take it personal. It's not about you. Sometimes they're not very good in telling you that, but it's not a failure. It's just that particular position that they were recruiting for, your skills or competency wasn't quite suitable. Or I also believe it wasn't meant to be. You will find there is a job there. There is a position. We just need to pick yourself up, get stronger, and you do one interview, two interviews, you just get better at two interviews. Because it becomes so kind of, it's like a sales speech. Because you just it can only get better.
Absolutely. And you also have to think that a lot of the positions, I'm sure, you even overqualified because you have got so much experience. Sometimes it's for companies to take in for a job that are not senior, someone that is as senior as you, is a bit worrying, because maybe they think you're not going to be enough motivated or loyal. But I believe at this very moment, you will consider any nice position that perhaps is not as senior now, but will allow you to grow going forward. Am I correct?
I think that's absolutely. And I think that I actually had one where the interview went really, really well. We were even talking about starting date, and then the next day I had a call from a HR actually saying that I was overqualified for the job. They actually felt that maybe I was overqualified and the job wouldn't be so exciting for me, or I would leave in the next 3 to 4 months. I understand that, it is quite a challenge for a company, but we're living in such a different world that you will get so many people overqualified for the position they applied, because we are not in a position to be going for senior. There is no senior jobs out there. There isn't, and then at the same time, I actually think, wouldn't that be great to get someone that's willing? They applied for the job, but they have all this overqualification that can help your company grow, rather than you having to teach them or, to get to that stage. And I take the risk for the company to say, what if, when things after COVID, it starts to get better, so you just get in a job to get a wage in, and it costs them money to put someone in there. But not everybody's like that. Some people want to use their experiences to help a team and to make a company grow. And if the company is a good company to work for, and they look after their staff, you will appreciate the opportunity they gave you when you need it. I wouldn't personally walk away when something got better, because I would actually say, no, when I needed them, they were the one that trusted and invested in me. Why would I walk away from them? But no, everybody's the same, and it's a risk.
I feel the same, because the company I am with, I've been very lucky. I have to say I'm privileged to have a job, and the company's looked after us so well. But Dani, I feel so loyal to my company now because I always was, because I enjoyed the job. But now I feel actually I feel even more tied to the company and loyal, and I want to do more because I actually feel gratitude.
You appreciate what they did. Yeah.
Exactly. They have in this moment, they could have gone through a completely different route that was maybe painful for us, all the employees in this country, but I'm incredibly grateful for how they dealt with the pandemic and how well they looked after their staff. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's why, a lot of the company, when they actually put one of their values is diversities and culture. And I think that's got a lot to do with different cultures. We're Italian and Brazilian. That's who we are. Loyalty for us is something very big. We really appreciate someone that gives us a chance and, to invest in us. And I particularly wouldn't walk away, but it's the opposite. When things got better, this is opportunity for us to even grow and to become even stronger than what we are, rather than me saying, thank you very much, but I found something better. But yeah, I think it's a lot to learn. And I think, maybe I know it's the risk, but sometimes it's worth taking the risk and getting that person, that employee that, could be the employee that will change your company, that will really give everything that, you don't quite have at the moment.
Well, thanks very much, Dani. I am 100% sure you will get the opportunity because we spoke before. I know you are a phenomenal woman and also an incredible professional. So you will definitely get your opportunity very soon. And also, thanks as well for your time and to speak to me in the box room. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. And well, let's hope that the sun is going to shine. We had too much rain.
Well, apparently there's a mini heat wave approaching us, and looks it's going to be like 24 degrees for a few days next week. So it's about time. It's about time. No.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Again.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you for talking.
Thank you.